Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cactus Patch. I am your host, Cactus, and today we have a very exciting podcast episode here for you all. Today, we're going to be discussing the new local that has popped up in the scene, Anarchy Nova, which happened not too long ago. And who better to discuss this event and its entirety from the planning to the finish than Nell Fire? Nell, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing today, Cactus?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have you here.
Oh my God, I'm happy to be here with you. It was a pleasure having you at the event. I was really flattered that you came all the way to stop by.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny because I've wanted to go to like pretty much every local that pops up, and I'm like it's so hard to like plan those out, especially with all the majors that are popping up. And then when like no Anarchy Nova got announced, I was like, that's not that far of a drive. What if I just did it?
I mean, that's how I feel about gridlock. I'm just like, I need to do that drive, and then I never actually do that drive. And I
Yeah.
did instead of doing the 4-hour drive, I was like, "Ah, let me just do a land down here. And it was probably harder, but
I mean, yeah, I can imagine, and we'll definitely get into just what that was like, having to run a local. But before we get ahead of ourselves, for those who maybe don't know who you are, why don't you give us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, my name is Nell. I go by Nellfire with a one in place of the I on Blue Sky and X and on Twitch.tv, just pretty much everywhere. I am a Div 6 Splatoon player, even though I'm kind of on a hiatus right now. I love Splatlings. If you see me, you know that I'm probably like shilling the heavy edit somewhere. I love the heavy edit Splatling. That's my little baby. I do some coaching and I'm on a team called YouTube to MP4 Free Online Converter, even though we have been kind of, in a lull right now. We're all doing our own separate things. But yeah, so that's what I'm about. I like to think I'm pretty funny.
No, and listen, I can contest to that. The times I've gotten to interact with you and be able to just hang out, even like now, like you're definitely a very fun person to be around and have around and just to talk to.
Oh
Um,
shucks, thank you.
of course, absolutely. So, how did you even get into Splatoon? Take me to day one. How Nell found this silly Squid game and just fell in love with it.
So picture this. It's
Okay.
2015.
Okay.
I don't know what you were doing in 2015, but I was being like a 16-year-old watching TV. It was summertime, and I saw the advertisement with that stupid jingle, the
Oh
"You're
yeah.
a kid, you're a
Oh,
squid"
yeah.
jingle, and it like got stuck in my head, and I was like, "Wait, this is kind of fire."
Yeah.
And so, I kind of like begged my mom to go get me a Wii U, and just for Splatoon, by the
Yeah.
way. I
Go.
got a Wii
Okay.
U just for Splatoon. It was like the brain rot started almost immediately. I mean, if you go on my Instagram, it's privated, but if you go on my Instagram and you scroll all the way down to the first ever post, it's me flexing that I got a Wii U
That's
in
so
2015.
tough. So tough.
So I was kind of on the front lines, but I didn't actually get into competitive until 2023. I was
Hmm.
kind of like a turf warrior, honestly, for like
Hmm.
eight, however long that was. I was a
Great.
turf
Yeah.
warrior for
Crazy
a long
work.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in college when Splatoon 2 came out and
Hmm.
I didn't have good Wi-Fi at all. So
So fair.
I
Yeah.
it just like wasn't really a thing for me.
Hmm.
I in fact like my friend group in 2016 would make fun of people that played comp. I'm like, haha, how could you even play comp in this game? This game's silly.
Yeah.
But now just look at me. I'm
Here you
yeah, but I
are.
got in yeah, here I am, but I got into comp in 2023 and I joined like a literal Div 11 team. Like we were dived 11. Like
That's
we were
yeah. It's like the
yeah.
literally the bottom div barrel.
Yeah, literally. We did not win any matches in low ink. We were just bottom of the barrel, but I was having a lot of fun. I was playing Splatlings and just enjoying myself and I've met like so many awesome folks that I'm still interacting with today. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The root cause started in 2015, the brain rot and the worms were there and they never left.
They dove deeper. Okay, it took them a couple of years to do so.
Absolutely.
What was kind of like the push for you to start looking into competitive? So you did say like when Splatoon 2 was out, you were kind of in that college state. 2023 is like Splatoon 3 was out for like a year or so, roughly at that point, right? So like, what was kind of like that point for you that was like, I really want to try this game competitively?
I don't know, it was kinda like the stars aligned a little bit. I
Hmm.
actually really owe it to this random post I saw on Twitter at the time. They were
Okay.
like, "Hey, this is just a Splatoon friend group. If you wanna join, it's just join the Discord." And so I joined their Discord, and I thought they were really cool, and I was like, "Oh my god, you guys are Div 9, that's so cool. I wanna be just like you guys." So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I, like, joined, their sister team, which was Div 11. Shout out to Monsters Inc. I love y'all, my goats. But yeah, so I was like, "This is kind of fun, actually." And so I was really bad when I first started, but it
Mhm,
was,
as we all
if
are.
yeah, for sure, but, like, if somebody didn't post that group chat, I probably wouldn't be into comp right now, so
Wow, yeah, so definitely like a just like lucky to have happen moment then.
yeah, I mean, I didn't actually go out of my way to start comp, I'll be
Mhm.
honest. I knew I was good at the game, tucks hair behind ear and smiles, but it was like, I don't know, but it was I think it was just right place, right time, honestly.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I feel like that's how it is for a lot of people because there's so many stories you hear of people who are like, "Oh, I was just like what on YouTube and just this video popped up my recommended," or like I was like watching someone else on Twitch and there was like a Splatoon like character like a profile picture
Mhm.
that popped up and I thought to check it out and it's like, "Oh, happen to be
Yeah,
a comp player." Like
yeah.
it's so there's so many just kind of like like little droplets of the competitive scene that end up in people's feeds that kind of gets them to either look into it just to see what it's like or like us just kind of delve into it.
Mhm, yeah, for sure. So it was just a random spur of the moment thing, but I'm like super happy that I ended up getting into it. I mean, I like I said, Splatoon has been a part of my life for so long and it's just like so important to me. So I'm really happy that all of these tiny events got me to where I am right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, speaking of places that got you, this is not your first time that you've ran a local, right? You've been to other events. What was the first in-person Splatoon event you ever attended and kind of take me through how you found out about it because I feel like when it comes to like locals or majors it's very rare you kind of see like players from the competitive side kind of breach that secondary wall of like hey there's more besides just online competition.
Mhm.
So what was like your first LAN or local you ever attended?
It was Riptide 2023, actually. I just kinda jumped into the deep end. I was
Oh,
like, "Okay,"
fair.
but yeah, like, everybody on the team that I was on previously, they were Squid Sushi. I was on Squid Sushi, and,
Okay.
um, everybody on that team was going to Riptide, and I'm like, "Well, I don't wanna be the only one left out," and it seems like a pretty cool thing, and, back before 2020, before the end times, I
Mhm.
used to go to a lot of anime conventions, so I used to
Okay.
cosplay a lot, and so I'm used to those type of things. I'm like, "Okay, a convention, I can do this. It seems like fun." And so, yeah, Riptide 2023 was the first ever LAN that I went to, and honestly, it was the first time I ever went on a plane as well. So Splatoon has led to a lot of firsts for me,
I feel
and
that.
it was super fun. It was super fun. I mean, I heard of it from, word of mouth, which is probably, like, the best way to hear about a
Hmm.
LAN, and I thought it was just so cool how, people were able to get all this technology to get set up, how we're all playing together and there's no lag, and it was just really awesome, and I loved it.
It's so funny you say that because like that's pretty much how it happened for me too. Like I'm right there with you. Like Splatoon is the only reason I like leave my house. Like I would have no reason to travel to a different state or let alone out of the country. Shout out Gommel. For any reason, and Splatoon gives me that reason. And it's like if you asked like 2022-year-old me before I even found out about majors and locals and all that jazz, like I would have and you told me that like oh you're gonna travel the country, I'd be like you're a liar, like go away.
No, I completely feel you because that's what the game does. I love this game because there is just such an interpersonal aspect to it that you don't
Hmm.
really see with a lot of other games. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to use Smash as a comparison, but with
Yeah.
Smash, you kind of can play the game on your own online.
Hmm.
But with Splatoon, you have to have kind of a team of four. And then also, you have to have good relationships with scrim partners if you want. And that just kind of leads to a really nice ecosystem if you're able to kind of cater that to your needs. So, I mean, I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely. And I like that you brought up that fact of like making those connections because like that's one of the biggest like driving factors on how so many people can get so far or build such strong bonds and connections with people, especially because like I feel a large amount of the community is those of like introverts, right? It's very hard to kind
Mhm.
of go into those social gatherings and those social outings. So Splatoon, it really helps enhance the, hey, we're all here for the same thing. So like
Mhm.
you can geek out. Like it's okay. And it's
Yeah.
so much fun that this allows that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a good atmosphere. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to host it. I wanted to, well, first of all, Anarchy Nova, that is the name of the tournament, if you're not aware. It is Northern Virginia. So
Mhm.
Nova, that's what it's called over here. But it also serves the DC and the Maryland area or other places if you want to come down here. But basically we kind of or I say we as in myself and Strings and Tori and other fantastic people that I'll shout out later that worked with me on this event to get it off the ground because no way I could have done it by myself.
Mhm.
But I lost my train of thought, but basically we saw a gap. There was obviously gridlock in New York, and there's obviously MomoCon and Gatorland in Georgia and Florida, respectively. And I'm like, okay, where's our Virginia land? Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's like 4 hours up to New York, and it's like 8 hours down to Georgia. It's really there's a really a dead zone here, and there are tons of great teams like Big Fat Sea Cows from VCU, like and GMU, George Mason University up here has a Splatoon team as well. So it's like we knew there would be a lot of interest, and so that was kind of the driving force behind it. So that it we just like we saw a need and we wanted to satisfy that need because it's such a fantastic experience for people.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up because that was kind of one of the first questions I really had when it came to the idea of wanting to host a local. And I feel that's the best reason, honestly, the most common why most people will host a local is because there's a drive and a player base in an area that wants something that they don't have. And that's honestly is that in-person like connection to not only the game but the people that you enjoy playing with, and also the sense of community, right? And
Mhm.
it's not every day too, because some states are a little less fortunate just based on location and just how it's they're laid out, where they kind of can't host a local. I know for a while, um, California had that little bit of that issue before Booyah Bay came out. Because
Mhm.
SoCali went on hiatus for a while because I think there was an issue with the venue and they had kind of struggled to pick something up. And the biggest issue was just trying to figure out like, where do we even host this thing? And that's why also,
Mhm.
California being so big, it's like you have the SoCali for Southern California, and then you have Booyah Bay, which is like the northern part. So like you have that weird mix of like you have a lot of players from both sides, and now you got
Yeah.
like an opportunity here for two great
Mhm.
locals that can appear.
Yeah, it's just honestly just figuring out the need, and
Hmm.
if your needs are not being met by what is around you, then make it happen if you're able to, or just honestly, I do encourage people to like obviously a Splatoon is full of people that are a little bit shy, a little bit socially anxious, but I do think that reaching people are so nice.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
community is so nice, and nobody would be mad at you for reaching out. Like I used to reach out to really high div people just to be like, "Can you coach me, please?" And even if they said no, they would offer me a little bit of advice. Like, so I posted on Blue Sky. I was like, "Hey, any other people in the Northern Virginia or the DC area that are interested in a LAN event?" And then string section, a very awesome TO who works on like low ink and such. He messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm in the Maryland area. I would totally be down to do this. I was thinking about doing this myself, but since you're also here, let's do it together." And I was like, "Thank God in heaven." Because I know nothing about being a TO actually.
That's fair. I feel like a lot of times locals are kind of what give players that driving force to learn.
Mhm.
Like you do have, of course, some people that have done like the online TOing, either a handful of times or an infinite amount of times. But the real challenge is being able to break that bridge of like, okay, how do I do this in person now? Because not only are you worrying about just running a bracket and giving it like a badge out, but you have the whole aspect of like, oh my gosh, this is in person. I need docs. I need Astros. I need good Wi-Fi connection. I need a place.
Yeah, I will say the most, difficult thing for me was finding the venue.
Mhm.
Venues around here are either incredibly expensive or they ghost you.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but it's true. We reached out. I mean, we started the hunt for a venue in October of 2024, and I
Okay.
know because I have, like, the timestamped messages, and like, we would scope out venues and have good relationships, and then boom, when we can't pay the price or we don't have proof that we can, like, pay the price or have the people show up, it's like, "Oh, okay, we're not gonna work with you anymore," and I understand, I completely understand because it's a
Mhm.
business at the end of the day. You're trying to reach out to local businesses just to kind of have a connection and possibly bring them more, people in the door, but, it's difficult, it's really difficult. It took us a long time to find a venue that would work with us, and, honestly, it was probably the best case scenario, but also, like, we were suffering from success a little bit because we
Mhm.
ended up, like, almost accidentally outselling the venue, like, to the extent where fire code was involved.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Like, you saw how small it was in there.
Yes, yeah, it is a for those who don't know, who maybe weren't there, it is a very, like, compact venue. Like, I can honestly, like, if anyone's been to, like, the Big Dapple events or Brookland, it's kinda like if you took the hallway, turn it sideways, and squished it with the back room, and, like, that's what it is. It's just a very rectangular, I guess, and just very
Yeah,
packed room.
and it didn't help that we were working with TVs instead of monitors.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and everybody was kind of elbow to elbow, and I was if you know me, you know that I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Well, because, like, I was kind of the logistics person for the entire thing. I was like, "Oh my god, we were outselling, we're gonna be a fire
Yeah.
violation." And so we were, like, thinking about doing outdoor activities to get people outside because our team cap was 12 teams, and suddenly we were at 11 teams signed up, and then we were like, "Oh my god, we need to close this now."
Yeah.
So it was really, really great. People showed up, and it was honestly the best thing that could have ever happened, but also I was incredibly stressed out, and we had to do, the part of the tournament in waves. So wave
Mhm.
1 came from, 1 PM to about, like, 3 PM, and then wave 2 came from, like, 3 PM to 5 PM, and that's when everybody played the game, because we couldn't have everybody there at once.
Yeah. And also, I think that was, like, a really smart call. I feel like most locals do that anyway, just kinda
Mhm.
split it up, especially, like, the larger they get. And I will say, it is incredible the turnout you were able to have for your first event, because I feel like, a lot of times you see locals kind of barely break the bridge of 8 teams or, like, 8 to 10, so being able to,
Yeah.
like, have to close it purposely because, not like, I'm sure, like, if you didn't have to close it, you would have had 16 teams, like, I guarantee it, but, like, you
We
had
were thinking that as
restrictions.
well. Yeah, we were thinking that too, and, I mean, also another thing that went into it is that, we were actually loaned out mix amp equipment from H-Town, and
Okay.
so, God bless H-Town, God bless everybody over there because
Yeah.
they sent their equipment over to us, and they were like, "Okay, just send it back when you're done, you can use this for Anarchy Nova," and I'm like, "Thank you so much," and so, like, it was so much because we had to kind of start from scratch. None of us knew how to do anything. Strings knew how to do the brackets. I knew how to talk to the venue,
Mhm.
and how to organize technology. And Tori knew how to Bugs knew how to do the art for it
Mhm.
and the branding. So I'm like, okay, well, we have like three powerhouses to do this. I think we
Yeah.
can do this. It's just going to be a little scuffed because we haven't done it before.
Mhm. Yeah, you have really had, like, a powerhouse team now that you say it, like, you really had every area covered by somebody, which is really good to have someone designated rather than, like, a bunch of people kinda dipping their hands into, like, different jars at the same time. Like, you had those designated roles for each person, and that really helped keep things, in a sense, civilized. Obviously, you're like you said, first event, it's not gonna be perfect, but it is gonna be a little more clear than if just everyone's like, "I thought you were talking to me. No, I thought you were setting things up." Like
Yeah, like, event management is definitely something that needs to be in one of your toolboxes. If you have a team, I'm just pretending I'm talking to the hypothetical person that wants to start a local.
Mhm.
Um, me from a few months ago. I'm talking to me for a few months ago right now. You're gonna need to, assemble the Avengers right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna need somebody to kind of be a manager. You're gonna need somebody to do the bracket. You're gonna need somebody to, heck, put wristbands on people.
Mhm.
Like, even stuff that you don't think about, it will come up, and honestly, bouncing ideas off of other people is what made this event happen because I don't know, if you've seen photos of the venue, it's just TVs and chairs, there's no tables
Yeah.
to put your stuff. So
Yeah.
Tori was like, "Okay, will this table work?" And he just sent a photo of, like, a table he has in his house, and I'm like, "Yeah, that would work. We need
Mhm.
8 of them." And so he sent us the Amazon link and was like, "Okay, order these, you order these, you order these." And we all ordered them, and we all assembled tables, and, like, on the day of Anarchy Nova, before like, as people were trickling in, I was trying to build a table in the back with,
Oh
like, a
my
few other
god.
participants so that people could set their equipment up.
Oh my god. I was wondering where those like, 'cause those are such unique tables to that I saw, so I was
Mhm.
wondering how those came to be. So that's
I mean,
honestly
they're in
pretty
my car
dope.
now. Anybody wants a
No.
table? They've lived in my car for a few like, a week now.
Oh my god. Did you like undo them or like they're whole
No,
still?
we should have.
Oh my god.
Literally at the end of the night, Tori was like, "I can't fit these in my car," and I was like, "I got a big car. Put 'em in
Yeah.
my car." And they have not left my car, but basically what I'm saying is that there's gonna be a lot of things that you aren't gonna think about, and you
Mhm.
need people to help ponder the orb with you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's I honestly that's something that I feel like is such a unique thing to have to worry about, which is tables. And I feel like every local has their kind of niche of something that they have to worry about. Whether it's like for you, it was these tables. For others,
Yeah.
it could be like just the chairs, because that's always a big thing. A
Oh
lot
my
of
god,
venues, it's
yeah.
like, oh, we don't have this many like foldable chairs. You're gonna need to get
Yeah.
extra, and it's like, oh,
Yeah. And honestly, I'm very, 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 very pleased with how the first Anarchy Nova went, but at the end of the day, I'm leaving with knowledge of what I wanna do for next time and what we
mhm,
can do for next time, because I think, like, after you run it once, you can set up a proposal. What we're gonna be working on soon is obviously, like, divvying up the funds and paying the venue, and then seeing if we can reimburse that back into the event, seeing if we can get our own technology, because I love you, H-Town. Mwah, I'm giving you big sloppy kisses right now for loaning us that equipment. Um, but I mean, we can't keep track of the mix amps if one of
mhm,
them is not working
yeah,
because it's not my equipment. I can't just say, "Okay, this one's out of commission, don't use that one."
mhm,
Um, Obviously, like, they're not mine. I don't have a spreadsheet of each item and whether it works or not. So it was a lot of tech issues that we were working with, which is just, myself and another TO, Glum, we were just, like, we were like just 2 monkeys with hammers trying to figure out how to make things work again. I felt so bad when I had to tell people, "You just have to play it through, I'm
mhm,
sorry." I
yeah.
felt so bad if there was audio issues, and I'm like, "You just have to play it through, we're running behind."
Yeah, and I mean, I think the one great thing about just this being in the Splatoon community is that for the most part, I really feel like most players were understanding.
Oh, for
Because,
sure.
if it was a Smash player who's like got their GameCube controller and it's hooked up to the CCTV and like there's a black line in the center of it, it's like, I can't play on this. Nope, we will not. You must get me a new one. Where it's
Yeah.
like Splatoon, it's like a little audio issue. Sure, let's just run it. Like, what's the worst that
Mhm.
happens?
True. I mean, I think it did help that they saw that it was physical, like, this was an in-person event. They saw that we were trying to help them, and I
Yeah.
like, if you see that somebody's trying to help you, you'll be a little lenient with them when they're like, "I don't know what the problem is." You'll
Yeah.
have to continue to go through with it. Um, but yeah, so the dock systems, the docks, I have a bunch of friends that have a lot of Switch docks, so I pawned, like, 5 off of them, and a lot of people donated their stuff. I mean, the Splatoon community is so fantastic. I was talking to Kaito, and they were like, "Are you sure you don't need anything?" Like in my DMs, they were like, "Are you sure that you don't need any extra equipment?" I'm like, "I'm sure. I think we're good."
Mhm.
They brought extra equipment anyway, and it saved the entire LAN.
Wow, that's incredible.
Like we were, I don't really remember what happened. I think it was it was a USB to Ethernet cable that didn't
Mhm.
work. The ones that Strings got unfortunately worked at their house, but did not work at the
Oh,
venue.
that's
And
so
so
frustrating.
and so they were like, "Okay, I brought some." And I'm like, "God bless you." I don't know. It's just like it feels like everybody came together to make the land what it was, and, people who came early, they were like, "How can I help?" Right? It was
Yeah.
so good. We had, like, an army of people that didn't know anything about, like, tech setups helping out at the start of the hour, and it
Mhm.
was really, really so nice.
We are talking a lot about like help getting this like the event running. How about like let's take a little bit of a step back here. What was it like reaching out to different venues and also just kind of turning this event to reality? Because I do on my end I have pulled up like because you posted a little bit after the event on Blue Sky the different names you have for the event. So that's something I'm curious too. How did you land on Anarchy Nova? You did say what the Nova stood for, but where did the Anarchy just kind of get tossed in from?
So at the beginning, I kind of wanted to stick with I wanted the venue to be in DC because I think it is the hub of everything, and,
Hmm.
people who are coming in from out of town could visit DC, right?
Yeah.
Um, or if they don't have an excuse to go to a Splatoon tournament, maybe they could say, "Mom, I really wanna go see the White House," and maybe mom will be like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, DC," and then I was thinking about Virginia, how it's the first state, and I'm like, "Okay, Splattlefield," something like that, and we were really going through with the bamboo, like
Hmm.
I wanted the bamboozler to be a badge. I
Yeah.
wanted the bamboozler to be a badge. That was what it was going to be. But I don't know, I just wasn't really none of us were really, like, going with the vibe. None of us were
Hmm.
kind of enjoying the vibe, and so it was DC for a while, D-SEA.
Hmm.
I still have, like, an email address that's dcsbl@gmail.com, like, it's that
Goaded.
and, Tori drew, like, color theory for the theming that we were gonna do. We were gonna do, like, a sakura blossom theme because DC
Hmm.
in the spring has sakura blossoms, and so we
Yeah.
were gonna do that. We were gonna do a bamboozler with, like, sakura blossoms on it, and then I was like, "Guys, I don't like this theme." And then they were like, "Wait, we don't either." So I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
Tori, you are the brains behind this." I kind of well, actually, I think it started with I posted a photo of the punk shrimp, and I was like, "I really want this to be a badge. Can we
Yeah.
th I'm commissioning this badge, this Sendo badge of the
Mhm.
punk shrimp, the shrimp it in the store." I was like, "We need to theme it after this." And then Tori actually came up with the idea of Anarchy Nova, and, because, the weapon, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
Anarchy
feel that, I
Nova,
see
yeah.
that.
And so that was his brainchild, and the theming was done by Bugs, who's really good at, like, punk and graffiti style art, and I'm like, "This is perfect. The
Mhm.
shrimp is there." And overall, we kinda just wanted to go with an iconography that isn't a squid.
Yeah, honestly, that's a really good call because I feel like that's what everyone does to some degree,
Mhm.
um, and you really drove home the uniqueness of the logo for the local.
Mhm. I love it so much. He did a fantastic job. I'm giving all of my flowers to Bug Slap, and, once I shout out everybody who, did this with me, I'll do that later, but obviously, having these, like, powerhouse people and, like, honestly, like, commissioning artists and relying on people that cover your faults is just
Mhm.
so important.
Yeah.
So that was the brainstorming idea, and then obviously talking to venues. I reached out to 2 other venues. One of them, very expensive in DC, had a bar, which could have been cool, but, they wanted $10,000.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
yikes.
was like I was like, "Yikes, I don't think I can do that." And then the other, venue that we were talking had have it be known this is in winter, and, Strings was coming down from Maryland to come check out venues with me, and so it was so cold, and it was so bitter, and, we had a lot of good, rapport with another venue that was in, Northern Virginia, not the one we landed on, but
Mhm.
they unfortunately, there was some miscommunication between the manager and the owner of the venue. The manager promised us, a cheaper price, and the owner of the venue was like, "We can't do that." And so we just ended up getting ghosted by them, unfortunately,
Mhm.
um, which is unfortunate. It's sad, but, we didn't stop. We were like, "Okay, one more try," and so we landed on the Outer Limits in Ashburn, and, the owner is such a kind guy, very, very sweet person, and he didn't really understand what we needed for the event, like, even on
Yeah.
the day of, he was like, "What are you guys setting up again?" I was like, Don't worry about it, we'll be in and out."
Yeah, yeah. We got it from here.
Yeah, but, honestly, just it worked out so well.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible, and I feel like I really love the attitude you were able to have, especially after getting one ghosted by one venue and also just being hit with like an insane price tag for the other. You know, sometimes for people trying to run events, that's enough to just kind of be like, maybe this is meant for me. Maybe this isn't like the right time. Like, but you kept pushing, and you did land on a incredible venue, which, by the way, was in an incredible spot. Like, for one, it was in a decent area where there's like solid food, like fast food areas around. And also it was just kind of like right next to a college or on a college campus university. So like,
Mhm.
also kind of W there. So like, it was a really like what is it called, like the third tries, like, or not, what's not the third try, but
Third
like,
time's the charm. Yeah,
yeah,
we
something
really
like
worked.
that, like the porridge is best on the third one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Strings who found this venue. I really have to give flowers to Strings because I was going through like a very, very bad depressive episode in the springtime, and I just kind of shelved the project. I was not replying. I had to message Strings and I was like, "I don't hate you. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going through a lot right now. If you can
Yeah.
maybe pick up what I'm doing, and I still want to do this event." And thankfully, like he was such a gem and was like, "Okay, I'll look up venues as well." And it worked out.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the great part about having a team, especially when it comes to running something like this, because it got, if anything is to happen, like that you were saying, unfortunately for you, there was, you still had someone else that was like, we could still make this happen. Like we could still find a way, and a way was found.
Mhm. It was found, and honestly, it worked out so well. I mean, the week before the event, I was very stressed out.
I was
I
about to
was
say,
like,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about
yeah,
that week of, here it is, 1 week away, 7 days.
it
What?
didn't feel real.
Yeah, how we feeling during that?
I swear to God, it did not feel real until, like, halfway through the event. But I went to Office Depot, I went to Staples, I got, like, Sharpie markers, I got name tags, I got, like, a
Hmm.
bunch of I got, like, wristbands off of Amazon.
Hmm.
I was delegating what people would be doing. I was like, "Okay, Bugs, you did the art, now you get to put wristbands on people and take their money," and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and overall, it was just a bunch of working out the kinks. At that point, things are just gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
things are in motion, people made plans, people are going to go, and you just have to trust that you planned well enough to rely on that.
Hmm.
I was so stressed out. I know on the morning of, you were like, "Nell, how are you?" Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask. You were like, "Nell, how are you?" Maybe I shouldn't ask that. You look like yeah,
You're just
something like that.
you just gave me that look of like, oh, I am losing my shit look.
I mean, you just have to trust that everything will be okay, and
Yeah.
it did go. I will say I feel bad for wave 1. Wave 1 were definitely the guinea pigs of our
Hmm.
setup. Some of the
Yeah.
setups weren't set up properly at all, and so I was, like, floating around trying to just make things get fixed and plugging in mix amps and unplugging mix amps and swapping mix amps, and I'll be honest, the mix amps were the problem children of the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like, the mix amps are, and for those who maybe don't know much about locals, but these little mix amps are what kind of you use to get not only game audio but also to hear the other players that you're teaming with. And it's so funny because mix amps like are constantly the hardest things to get and cause the most problems, and it is the most infuriating thing on the planet. I don't know how many times I've seen it from locals and majors themselves who don't use those like big fancy ones, where they're just like, yeah, this thing costs like an arm and a leg to get, and it was very hard because they don't really like make that crazy amounts anymore, and they suck.
It's so crazy, like, they don't even make certain models of them anymore, but you have to use
Yeah.
them. It's absolutely nuts, but I know that, like, a few of the people on the team are like, "We need to find an alternative to mix amps."
Yeah.
Or at the very least, we get our own so that we can troubleshoot them and really have time to test setups beforehand because they were oh my goodness, they were being a little fussy to a lot of people.
Yeah, no, definitely. From points where they're just giving like the loud buzzing sound to no
God, yeah.
audio in general just coming out, or you get like half audio through like of like maybe it's like just the other people but no game audio, and it's like
Yeah.
great,
Some people would only hear 2 of their teammates, but not the 3rd one, and
which
the
is
tr
crazy.
I don't understand why, like, we were looking at the setups and we were like, "I have no idea why it's doing that," because
Yeah.
the cords were set up in a way that they were chained together, they should be fine, but they
Yeah.
weren't. So that was kind of what I was dealing with all day. So in my head, I had a skewed perception of how it went. I was like, there were so many tech issues. It was terrible. But then I was talking to people and they're like, no, it was fine overall. And I was like, oh yeah, I had a skewed view of it because I was fixing all the
Yeah.
problems.
Oh yeah, as a TO, I feel like you're always gonna have that skewed view because it's like the only thing you really get to see is one, is the event running, and two, show me every problem that's possibly happening right now, and like
Yeah.
not even really like, at least not for until you've run a handful of them, you don't really get to kind of see like the enjoyment of the event just running. It's what do I need to fix next?
For sure. When it really became real for me was when I was sitting this was maybe, like, midday, this was probably, like, 3 or 4. I was sitting back and just watching everybody play the game. I think every single station was in use, everybody was playing the game, people were calling out, and I was sitting back and I was like, "This looks like a LAN."
Yeah.
And I felt so happy.
Speaking of, let's talk a little about the day of, right? So you did say like halfway through it didn't really feel real in a sense that it was actually finally happening until like you kind of got that moment to like take it all in.
Mhm.
But like that whole day in general, if you want to like give like a brief like start to finish, what were like kind of like the feelings and vibes of that whole day? You know, maybe when you first got there with the other staff to all the way up to breaking down the stations.
Yeah, so when I didn't get there first, Strings got there first,
Mhm.
and, we actually heard the night before that we weren't allowed to enter the venue early.
Okay.
So, that actually happened, that's why if you went to Anarchy Nova, there was an announcement saying, "Hey, we're pushing this by an hour."
Mhm.
That's because, something came up and the manager wasn't able to unlock the doors from 11, we were supposed to get there at 9:30 to start setting up and testing setups. So, we were already a little stressed out and, I went into the venue and I put the mix amps down and there were already, like, a lot of people setting stuff up and, people were looking at me to be like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Ah, man, I don't know, but I don't know, but I'll make it up." So
Yeah, yeah.
like, "Okay, here's a bunch of HDMI cables, go plug them into the TVs. Here's a bunch of docks, plug them into the docks," and I sent this, like, photo in general of, in the general chat of Anarchy Nova, what the setup should look like, and I'm like, "Okay, just match this. Here are the chords, just match it," and it was good until, like, it was time to start playing the video game, and
Mhm.
then I was like, "Okay, there were a lot of issues. Maybe it was delayed by, like, 45 minutes, the
Yeah.
bracket, because there was one team, unfortunately, that just had so many audio issues. We just had to say, "Okay, you have to play it," and thank God I brought my extra set of headphones because I had to loan them out, like, multiple times per day, that day to people that had headphones that weren't really compatible with what we were having, but, as people were playing the game, it kind of settled into itself. Like I said, I had, Bugs, running the front desk. He was checking people in and taking their wristbands, and we had, like, cute little buttons from, Tori that had the little, shrimp, our little mascot on it,
Mhm.
and so that was really fun, and I think it added, like, a little level of entertainment for people that were waiting in line and stuff, but I mean, setup, it worked. We had a lot of hands on deck, thankfully. We had so many people, and like I said, Kaito, who lent us some technology that we needed. But overall, it was just like, okay, we're putting this up as fast as we can. We'll work out the kinks later. And so, when it was time for people to start playing the game, that's when the issues came up. But I think we fixed them. It just took a while. That's why wave one was the guinea pigs. But I was getting kind of stressed out in between the waves. I was like, okay, I'm hungry, it's lunchtime, and I'm kinda stressed out, and it's hot, and I'm nervous, and everyone has a problem, and I'm like, people having fun, it's like in your brain, you're like, "Does everyone hate me?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Everybody's having a terrible time.
yeah, the evil thoughts start rolling in.
Yes, but, I think it went really well. I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, and I think people were having fun. People had some hype moments. There were some, like, really close ties and really close sets, and, people it was so cute. People had, like, their own manual fix, so we had TVs, like, really big TVs, and because it was a tiny event, people had to sit really, really close to the TVs,
Mhm.
and so people were just changing the, aspect ratio of their
Yeah,
Switch.
yes. I
Yeah, they were
saw
changing
someone do that, and I had to do the same thing, and I was like, "Wait, this is a goated strat."
They changed the aspect ratio to be super small so that it's, like, easier on the eyes. I'm like, "That's a good idea, you guys are great." But it's just, like, working with what you have, and
Mhm.
We got into the flow of things pretty quickly. I feel like we were able to manage the tech issues throughout the day as they came. Obviously, some people just had to play it through. Some people played with no game audio, unfortunately. There was a carbon roller player. I forgot their name, but they played with no game audio whatsoever. And I felt so bad for them because you're a carbon roller. Oh, they had game audio. They couldn't talk to their team. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So
Dang.
I'm like, dang, but you're the stealthy one. Like, it's just stuff that you gotta deal with and take them as they come, but yeah, like, Tori ordered Chipotle for us, God bless his soul, and I, like, scarfed down some Chipotle in the back and all that stuff, and then boom, the day went pretty fast, it chugged along, and I think everybody had a really good time, but, Takedown, obviously, the last set was quite hype, and I was, like, taking down stuff, like, as people were doing finals. As finals was going
Oh
on, I
yeah.
was, like, going back and forth taking stuff down because I was like, "I wanna get out of here."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think honestly that's such a good call too, because the sooner you break stuff down, the sooner you could just leave.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for next time that I wanna do is I really enforce, like sorry if I'm cutting out. I really wanna enforce, like, labeling the items that we have because there were
Mhm.
some issues where it's like, "Do you have this? This is mine. This isn't mine.
Yeah.
Whose is this?" Like, that type of stuff, but that's par for the course. We had, like, a little lost and found table on one of our many tables that we had.
Hey, at least he
And then
designated something for it.
yeah, right, and then afterwards, we ended up, like, once everything was put away, it was very sweaty outside,
Mhm.
we went and got ice cream, and then I got canes with Tori, and then we ran in to set 11'8" bridge at the canes, which was kind of funny.
That's the fun part of like post local is just being able to still run into Splatoon players around the area.
I'm like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "We're hungry." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess."
Yeah, yeah, I guess you can eat after the local. Fine.
I guess, yeah, but overall, the day was quite fast, and I think it went well based on what everybody was saying, so
Yeah, I mean, I can even tell you from like my personal perspective as someone who's like I don't want to say I've been to a lot of first local slash majors, but um the only one I really can compare it was the first big Dapple I ever went to.
Mhm.
And I can definitely say that like you guys did fantastic for the first time, and with the not only just the limitations but the problems you guys had. For one, huge W to you all because you finished like same day with time to spare, like maybe a little later than you would have liked, but like it still happened all in one day.
Oh my god, it was so crazy. I thought we would be there forever, but honestly, like, we were thinking maybe let's not do Swiss next time because Swiss was taking a long time and, but I wanted everybody to be able to play games.
Yeah, no,
Like,
absolutely.
I don't want people to come all the way out here and not play games.
Yeah, that's so fair.
But, it was successful, we did great, and we're all very excited about it, and we just wanna do so much stuff for the next one.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, speaking of like something that wasn't there this time, that I know you and I spoke a little bit there about trying to get for the next Anarchy Nova is a stream
Mm.
setup. So for some people that maybe weren't aware, there was no stream, um, or if they are aware there was no stream. Tell us kind of about what it was like, knowing that you kind of had to make that call of like, hey, we just kind of can't do one.
Yeah, so I reached out to a lot of different people about the stream, mostly because I would be the one doing it, and I used to be a VTuber, I used to be on Twitch, I know what it's like, and I've been around the block a few
I was about to
times over
say,
there.
yeah, got the experience.
I got the experience, but it's a whole different beast, and I was considering the venue as well. I was like, "Okay, there's TVs. How is that gonna affect something? How are we gonna get a spec in there? Where are they gonna sit?" Like,
Hmm.
it's a bunch of, like, logistics stuff that I was having trouble with, and, we need somebody with a laptop, we need a camera for commentators, we need blah, we need this, we need this, we need this, and at the end of the day, I was like, would you rather have a LAN that is like, not like, okay and good with no stream, or would you rather have like a LAN that's run with that's being held up by popsicle sticks, and we have a stream that's also being held up by popsicle sticks?
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I think that it was actually a net positive because, Anarchy Nova is themed after punk and, grassroots stuff. So I think, not having a stream for the first one or having a stream where it was just you kind of like filming it on your
Oh,
phone,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was very topical. And I don't think that people needed to have FOMO for one. I mean, we're working out the kinks. We're gonna make it bigger and better. And honestly, I hate to say it, but not having a stream kind of builds hype in a way.
Yeah, it really kind of, like you said, kind of built up that FOMO, but also like if I'm more inclusive to the part like wow, like no one else can kind of have what we're having. Now like, like LME for doing my daily stream, haha, hashtag 200 episode stream, being the local, but also it was really cool to kind of have kind of a little bit of a light into what it was like there, and
Yeah.
kind of show people like you might want to show up to the next one and things are also going to be so much cool. Like you should definitely come down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that now that we've run this once, there's gonna be people that have run streams at lands before, and they're gonna be like, "Nell, can I please help? Please, I
Mhm.
want to do this."
Yeah.
Like I've had a bunch of people be like, "Can I please commentate at the next one?" And I'm like, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that a stream is definitely something that we really want to get situated for the next one.
hmm What what else were are some things that you're looking forward to also adding for the next Anarchy Nova besides a stream? Obviously, like skipping down a couple questions because we did kind of already answer some of them. Obviously, a stream's probably the big one, just to kind of showcase the land itself. But was there anything else that you kind of noticed throughout the day that you were like, yeah, that would be so cool if we have this next time, or that you wanted to run originally that you were like you had to cut short?
Um, we want an uncapped tournament,
So
as
fair.
in we want to not have to cut it off. Like we want a large venue. I think
hmm
so crazy that we already outgrew the venue that we started
Yeah.
on. It's crazy, but I can't imagine doing that again with more people.
hmm
I can't imagine it. I feel like it would be way too many folks. In the Canes, after the Atlanta event, I looked at the maximum occupancy sign, and it had a higher maximum occupancy than the LAN event that we were just at.
Oh my gosh.
The Canes can hold more people.
Hey, there's your next land location at a king.
Yeah, we were joking about that. But, definitely venue is something I want for the next one. A stream, obviously.
hmm
Um, possibly, if we can have the funds for it, our own equipment. That's
hmm
kind of a big stretch goal because I want to be able to keep track of our own equipment, and, I mean, it did cost a lot of money to ship off a 25-pound box of equipment, so
Oh
I
God, I
don't
can
wanna
only imagine.
not even gonna get into that one, but,
Yeah.
it's just I want to be able to depend on ourselves and, you know, we want posters as well. We want, like, people to
hmm
sign posters. It's a great opportunity for people who are a little shy to be like, "Hey, can you sign my poster?"
hmm
You know, that type of stuff, and, since I'm working with Tori and Bugs, we can have a lot more merch. We were pondering, maybe doing MagFest because, I don't know if you know about MagFest, but it is a, convention that's run in, the Inner Harbor, Outer Harbor,
Okay.
in Maryland, and it did a, like the lore is deep with MagFest, but it did like a Splatoon tournament, but it wasn't run by any Splatoon fans, so it was kind of like a tournament that was like hell, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was like we were kinda just wistfully like, "We can do MagFest," you know?
yeah.
But it's just a lot of things down the pike that we really want to work on. I do wanna work I think my next step is to work on a proposal for bigger venues. Maybe we reach back out to the venues that ghosted us, and I'm like, "Hey, we actually made money off of this,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah, you were
know?
able to have a turnaround that was successful, and I feel like also pretty rare for locals to have happen. Like usually
Mhm.
usually the goal is break even, right? If you
Yes,
happen to go
absolutely.
over, like that's where you could start, like you said, start looking into equipment. I know a
Mhm.
big one is prize pools that people
Oh,
like to
yeah.
introduce. I will say, because I did want to mention earlier, loved the pin idea too, because that was kind of like, for me, that was the poster of the event. That was like,
Mhm.
this is like how for me I can say I went. And I'm also somebody who loves to collect pins or keychains
Yes.
whenever I go to different states.
Mhm.
And I could not tell you the amount of gas stations I went to that just didn't have anything. But to me, like that pin is going, like the Anarchy Nova pin is going to kind of
Yeah.
represent it for me until maybe one day I come back and I'm able to actually find one somewhere, or I just buy it
It
on
was
eBay. We'll see. But
Mhm. That was, Tori's brainchild. Tori drew the pins, like, maybe a few days before. And he was like, "I have a button press, let's do it." And so we actually, like, sold out of pins at, like, 2 p.m. It was kinda crazy. They were
How
in, like, a
fast?
gachapon machine. Yeah, they sold out really fast, and so we were thinking, "Okay," and also, the prizes technically is that it was a raffle technically. If you got the golden shrimp, you were able to get one of Tori's, like, 5-foot Kraken plushies. So we got 2 winners for those, and obviously we got the, shrimp, sendo badge for the winners, and,
Mhm.
we do wanna do, like, an art prize and maybe, like, a prize pool of some sort, but that's, like, way far ahead. We really just wanna make this event as good as possible, and with the turnout that we saw for the, like, little few prizes
Mhm.
that we had, it was so fantastic, really great.
Absolutely, and I'm confident you'll find kind of your own niche of like a prize to give. I know some locals do like the 3D printed medals. I know Big Dapple will do like the little trading cards. So I'm sure you'll be able to find your kind of your own niche when it comes to a prize to symbolize, maybe the top three placements. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's definitely you're already hitting the nail on the head of really attracting the uniqueness to the local.
Yeah, and I think, like, my end goal well, one of my dreams is to sell, like, patches, like, for a jacket and
Okay,
have
yeah.
on it because Anarchy Nova is very punk themed. Just both Strings and myself were wearing our little jackets, our
Mhm.
denim jackets with the patches on it, just because it's very homegrown. And I want the land to feel kinda homegrown like that. So, I think that's an end goal, but obviously merch is not high on our priority list,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
absolutely. So,
But
where do
yeah.
we go from here then? For I know it's kind of soon to ask, but here forward for Anarchy Nova, have we kind of just kind of been taking the time to unwind and be like, okay, we did it. We can breathe for a couple of months now.
We've been kinda busy this week, so we're gonna be meeting, this upcoming week to talk about the future of it, but, my next step is to do a proposal so that I
Mhm.
can send it over to different, like, gaming lounges in the area, and, that we really just wanna hone in on a bigger venue. I mean, and I obviously have to talk to people about the equipment. If we can't get the equipment, we can't run it.
Yeah.
If H-Town can't loan us the equipment again, then, it's not gonna happen. So I don't wanna put a date on it just yet. I would like to have another one before the end of the year, but I'm not gonna promise anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good realistic goal to have, and a great plan set forward. What's next for you? What besides obviously planning out Anarchy Nova? What is Nell up to the remainder, 4 or 5 months of this year? What's coming up next for you?
Um, just a lot of big life stuff. I'm gonna be moving soon and,
Ooh, okay.
well,
Congrats.
uh, back to my mom's house,
Oh,
so
maybe
just
not
like,
so quick.
don't congratulate me just yet.
Premature congrats. My
Times
bad.
are tough out here, but,
Growing.
overall, just kinda getting my life set up, and I honestly have not been playing Splatoon as much. I think I find more pleasure and, just fulfillment from doing back end stuff, so I definitely wanna continue to commentate. I applied for Riptide commentary, so crossing
Let's
my fingers on
go.
that.
W.
Maybe if you're there, we can commentate together.
I was gonna
See.
say I also filled out the form, so I'm all excited.
Okay, yes, that's gonna be so much fun if we are able to get on the same stream together, but yeah, I wanna do more commentary, and I wanna do more back-end stuff, and maybe figure out how to actually be a TO, but honestly, like, my team, YouTube to MP4 free online converter, I feel like we're all going our separate ways. I may just give the leadership of the team over to my teammate, but,
Mhm.
just because I'm focusing on other things right now, and I'm getting really into Dead by Daylight, so I kinda wanna do content for that actually, because
Okay.
horror is my niche. If you
Mhm.
know me, I'm a kind of a spooky person, so I was thinking about doing that because honestly, like, I love Splatoon so much, but it's just so personal to me that I would
Mhm.
rather just kinda, like, stay back and do cool things for other people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like that's so I really admire that you kind of have that split for the game as well, where it's like you want to kind of keep it your thing and you're gonna
Mhm.
focus other aspects of like maybe creating like content and stuff for other things that you enjoy. And I feel like that's so
Yeah.
cool and it's really fun to be able to explore that alternate option.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Of course, you're gonna see me around Splatoon everywhere. I do squids. I just have to plug my dock back in. I
Yeah.
haven't And I do love the heavy edit. I've been shilling the heavy edit, and I will until the day I die. So, I just don't know if I'll be competing anymore. I think that I work a job and it's hard.
Yeah, that's so fair, honestly.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at, regarding Splatoon and the tournament and stuff, but I'm just gonna really be putting all my eggs in Anarchy Nova.
Hey, that's awesome. That's really glad to hear. The only question less I have for you, it's kind of even kind of a question, but this is kind of a pass the mic section of the podcast where
Mhm.
the floor is yours. This is like anything you would like to say that
Wow.
we didn't mention or give any shout outs you'd love to give out. This time is a lot of chips for you. So no, feel free,
Well
take the floor.
well, thank you so much. Well, first of all, I wanna shout out Cactus. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate Sorry if I'm cutting out, oh my god.
It's okay, it's
Thank you
okay.
so much, Cactus, you're awesome, and I really appreciate you having me on to yap.
Mhm.
You're fun to yap with.
It's
You
my
know,
pleasure.
it was worth not eating a pizza to yap with you. For those of you who don't know, I ordered a pizza an hour ago.
Did it at least arrive? Please tell me it arrived.
I hope so.
Oh my god. I'm gonna need
Anyways,
that
we'll figure
update.
that out. You're gonna get that update. Stay tuned. But yeah, so I
Okay.
really wanna shout out, Strings section on Blue Sky. They are an amazing individual. Helped me a lot in this tournament, and it would not be anything without them. Same with Glumbatron. I love them so much. He did a great job keeping me sane. Um, Tori and Bugs, obviously, they did the art for it. They were manning they fed me. They fed me, and they did the amazing art of the shrimp, and yeah, everybody else, I'm definitely forgetting people, but honestly, if you were there to help set up, if you were there participating, thank you for being there and just having confidence in us. So, that's basically it. Remember to follow me on Blue Sky or Twitch.tv. You'll see more of me around if you like my vibe like that.
Couldn't have said it any better. Nell, truly, thank you so much for one, of course, coming onto the podcast to discuss the local, but two, being able to just be a part of the team to run the local. I've never personally made a drive like that before, and it was. I'm really glad I did. Even the disgusting bumper to bumper traffic. Once I was there, once it was Saturday, it was worth it. You helped to
Mhm.
make it worth it. So thank you for all that you did and all that you will continue to do.
Aw, stop it. Stop it. No, I
Stop
appreciate
being nice to me.
being nice right now. I appreciate everybody that came out, especially if they drove a long distance because Nova traffic sucks really, really bad, especially if you go through Maryland. No offense to my Maryland homies, but y'all drive terribly. Who said that?
Who said those words?
Who said that? But yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, then if that is all that you have, that is all that I definitely have. So thank you again for coming on, and thank you all for listening or watching, whichever you decided to do. Appreciate everyone for tuning out. And that'll do it for this episode of the Cactus Patch, and we'll see all of you next time.